been yelling myself hoarse on this radio every day. It's just the weather dumps on us frequently here, and maybe my transmission doesn't get through. I don't know.
I can't understand one word of what you say, Willard.
It's all going swell, sir.
Get the bit up! Get it out!
Turn it off! Off! Hey! Switch it off!
Think you better come and check out Site 2. What about this?
Blow through it! Found more meteorite.
Nah, something a little younger than that.
Oh no! Billy!
I don't want you to set that explosive, do you hear me? I do not want you to set that explosive!
Wretched pyros. This place is a busy history.
Hello and welcome everyone to my Let's Play Tomb Raider 3 The Adventures of Lara Croft. This is Algadis115 speaking. Let me welcome you to the very first level of the first Tomb Raider I have ever played, and oh my god, is this a treat. Seriously, this level is an absolutely amazing one by design. It introduces you to several new mechanics, lets you walk away from some easy traps, easy enemies, so that you are kind of more experienced in the upcoming levels. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. First of all, why don't we check Lara's starting inventory? Now, as we can see in the background, once again, due to the glitch, we see the loading screen, which is actually pretty amazing. I love to be able to see this within the in-game inventory. Now, of course, we have the stopwatch, just like in Lara's home, except that, unlike the stopwatch in Lara's home, this doesn't show us assault cores and quad bike track records. This shows us the statistics pertaining to a level, just like in previous Tomb Raider 2. So, what we see is a time taken, secrets found, kills, ammunition used, hits, health pack used, and distance traveled. Once again, I do not know why. I think probably the most interesting statistic after secrets found would be the pickups found. The game does not show you that, which I think is a terrible shame, but we can manage even without it. I'll make sure I'll find all the items before posting anything on my channel, but it would still be great to be able to track this on the stopwatch screen. Well, unfortunately, this is not the case. Nevertheless, this level should contain 39 different items. There should be 19 enemies to possibly kill. Some can be avoided, of course, and 6 secrets to find. As you might have noticed, this is, well, it's 6 secrets, which is a large amount of secrets to be had. I think 6 is the highest number of secrets we will discover in any level in this game. Basically, each level has a different number of secrets. It is not like finding the 3 dragons, one made out of stone, jade and gold, just like in previous Tomb Raider, but it's kind of them to at least show you on the statistic screens how many secrets you are to expect, and I'll cover the secrets later. Then we have our trusted pistols, and Lara brought, once again, almost empty box of flares, just 2 of them, even though it looks full in the inventory screen. Don't know why they couldn't give us, you know, the value of 1 pickup, that is 8. And then 1 large health pack and 1 small health pack. I mean, it is still better equipment than the first game, but those experienced of you might notice we are missing our trusty shotgun. Yes, that is unfortunately case. You might be thinking Lara didn't bring it along with her. That is not true. Lara did bring the shotgun with her. Unfortunately, being rather sleepy and clumsy, she dropped it in the vicinity, and we have to find it. The game started a few moments after she picked herself up and composed herself, just to avoid the public embarrassment, but the shotgun ended up somewhere over here. Oh my goodness. Now, for those of you experienced ones, you probably recognize this secret chime. This means we have found the very first secret in this game. Yes, 1 out of 6. this root of the tree is actually stable. It does not slide. I will enter a crawl now just to show you a bit better. This is what hides under the roots of the tree. What we see here are two pickups. As you can see, in this game they are three-dimensional now. They are not just two-dimensional sprites. So let's see what we get. Okay. Unfortunately, in this game you do not see in the bottom right corner the kind of pickup you receive after picking something up. I do not know why this is the case. They probably had some rendering issues with 3D objects. This is something they fixed in Tomb Raider 4. Unfortunately, in Tomb Raider 3 you will not know exactly what you picked up unless you pay close attention to what your inventory screen was before and after pickup. Now, this is my job to do, to really check how many pickups we have with each action we take. But interestingly enough, this is where Lara's shotgun ended up, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it looks way more modern. It is a very different model of a weapon, and it just makes the sweetest sounds when you equip it. You can also use hotkeys now, 1 for pistols and 2 for shotgun, which, you know, comes in really handy in those tight situations. Now, the other pickup we have received are Uzi clips. So yes, Uzis make it back. They were in Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2, and Tomb Raider 3 is no exception. And fortunately, this does not show you the ammunition count we actually received, and for one pickup we have received 2 Uzi clips, which, yeah, sounds about right, but make no mistake, this does not mean it's one pair of Uzis, it means these are 2 Uzi clips, just like the name says. But it will get more confusing as we find different kinds of ammunition for different kinds of weapons. Anyway, we see a long stretch down there. We can actually slide all the way down. But why don't we jump onto this wooden log over here, and we can see the first inhabitant of the jungle, this very adorable, cute and curious little monkey. Now, you don't have to kill these guys, they're actually very friendly, and we'll be observing their interesting behavior later on in the level. They can be actually quite helpful. The problem is, this being a completionist kind of let's play, trying to show you everything, unfortunately, for the sake of statistics, I will have to end your life. And there we go. So, just like the monks in Tomb Raider 2, I will be killing the friendly creatures and people and entities in Tomb Raider 3, just to make it to the full kills count. And however, I do encourage you not to kill these monkeys if it gives you problems sleeping, you know. I'll be having nightmares for the following days. But it's all a worthy sacrifice. So yeah, this is kind of also a good target practice to see what happens when you try and use pistols on a living creature. And as you might have noticed, there was no real blood coming out of the monkey, it was just these pink pixels. You know, this is really interesting. Apparently the game faced some critique for being bloody or something like that, and the red textures had to be replaced by pink to make it through some kind of age count, which I find to be really interesting, and I decided to keep it, you know, because this is the way I know the game, for the sake of nostalgia. And oh my god, we have the very first trap in here, and yes, it is exactly as ineffective as you've just seen. The boulder stops when it hits a bit of a more narrow kind of space. Now, what we picked up just a short while ago was a box of shotgun shells. Just like in previous Tomb Raiders, it means 2 shotgun shells, so our ammunition count changed from 2. The shotgun already came preloaded with 1 box. It changed to 4, just simple as that. And here we have the second pickup, the large health pack. Yeah, so obviously we do not need to use yet. Now, you might be tempted to continue down the slope, however I strongly advise you to just make this a bit awkward jump, but nothing too difficult. Because as you can hear, we have just reached the second secret of the game. Once again, we are awarded with shotgun shells, and this strange floating crystal with a plus sign inside it ahead of us. Now, these crystals in the PC version of the game serve no other purpose than to refill half of your health. Think of these like small health packs, with one considerable disadvantage, and that is, once you pass over them, it's over. They are used, expended. You cannot pick them up, so to speak, and carry them over, unfortunately. For later, more strategic use, you just use them instantly. So, you know, depending on when these are placed, you can decide to leave them for later use. The reason these crystals even are in the game is a remnant of the PS1 version, where these crystals are not green but actually blue, and they are an inventory item to be picked up. Oh my god, let's just take a look at the amazing scenery and listen to the music. Very eerie. White space is opening up. This level is just absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And yeah, we can pick up the second crystal already, just like that. And yeah, we can explore this sort of waterfall area. We are clearly approaching some ruins in this jungle, but I'm not sure Lara even knows what exactly she's looking for at this point. At least I don't think it was explained in the game manual. But yeah, anyway, back to the crystals. Oh, look there, another secret. Really easy secrets to find in this level. You might be, you know, intimidated by the number of secrets, being 6 of them, but they are so incredibly easy to find that you will probably end up with 5 of them, not even trying to discover the secrets. Just not knowing where to go and exploring the environment will yield them. Yeah, so those were shotgun shells, and there should be, yep, a pack of flares over here. So let's get them. But yeah, so in PS1 version the crystals are far more essential because they are the only means for you to save the game other than reaching a new level. In the PS1 version, which I've practiced on actually, a new save is created each time you reach a new level, but to save your progression within a given level you need to expend these crystals. So really, even showing you where all these are in the PC version is going to help you a great deal if you are playing the PS1 version. And at that point, when you open your inventory, they will just be floating there along with the other items, but not green, but in a color of blue. And what we picked up, other than shotgun shells and flares, were grenades, and this is a source of perpetual confusion to me. Why, when we pick up a pair of grenades, there is number 1, but when we pick up a pair of Uzi clips, it says number 2. I understand this is 1 grenade, so it's showing us an ammunition count, I guess. Or maybe when we actually find the grenade launcher, which you are probably familiar with from Tomb Raider 2, maybe each of these ammunition packs will convert into 2 grenades. It's difficult to say. But yeah, they should really keep some sort of consistency on these numbers, because they will just confuse the living hell out of us at this point. Okay, and that's it for this area. Now, very interesting feature in Tomb Raider 3 is actually this pile of mud we see ahead of ourselves. Now, this is what I really love about some levels in the Tomb Raider franchise. What we are looking at right now is the very level exit. We are so very close to it, and yet it is quite impossible to reach from here without Lara dying. The reason why that is the case is, okay, let me demonstrate on hopefully a safe piece of mud. This is the reason. And the further you go down, the more Lara will start sinking until her breath will start running out. Let me see if I can show it. Okay, and we are sinking already. Now, you will see her breath running out soon. Wait, oh, there we go, just one small step. Now, it expands very quickly. You don't have a whole minute, I think, is the time you can spend underwater in the mud. It will start expanding very quickly, and then your health will start depleting, and then Lara will just suffocate and die in the mud. And of course her movement is very slow, very clumsy, and you can easily get into the kind of mud you cannot even get out of. So, sorry Lara for making you all dirty, but I just thought I'll demonstrate this mechanic. So trying to reach the exit now will result in Lara suffocating, so we will have to find a more creative route. Which is fine by me. We will actually get to explore amazing environments, and oh my god, the bloody monkey, it took a health pack that was on the floor. Now you might be tempted to shoot it straight away so that it will drop that health pack, but just bear with it for a while. It dropped the health pack on its own. The reason being it's trying to show us the lever over here. Now Lara's way of saying thanks is, of course, the following. Let's get our hands on that tasty health pack. The health packs, I think, are the only kinds of objects these monkeys can really pick up in their small mouth. And talking about stunning and gorgeous environments, I mean, just look at this river. This is absolutely amazing. You might be very tempted to jump in, and you know what? I'm gonna humor you. I'm gonna jump into that river. Okay, we just opened some mysterious door back in the central area, but you know what, let's just swan dive into this river It will be refreshing. I bet it's so hot in here anyway. And yes, we unfortunately get carried away by a current. But this was not all a complete and utter waste of time, because as you can see there is a small health bag on the very bottom. I was actually not aware of this health bag even existing in the game until rather very recently. And for those of you with a keen eye, you can enter behind these leaves into a tunnel. And the tunnel will basically take us back into the central area where we were just a short while ago. So I find this better way of getting back than just backtracking through the tunnel the monkey took us. How about, you know, going for a short swim, taking a look around, getting your hands on a small health bag. Useful kind of thing. Okay, and so here we are, back again. Sometimes small health bags can be very difficult to spot on textures like these. I mean, look at all these pebbles and rocks. But yeah, thankfully having a good resolution, graphics, well, what does it mean nowadays? This game is from 1998, but I remember playing it on an older computer with blurry graphics. It was so difficult to spot. And the moment we get inside, we get trapped, of course, with these protruding spikes just glaring at us. Thankfully, if you touch them, they are not at all harmful. Well, not from this side. However, from the other side, they will eliminate us completely. And that's an interesting thing, because whilst they're static, they do not hurt us, but just bear with me for a while. Yeah, survival's instinct to just get the hell away from there. If they would touch you, they would just very slowly shred Lara's health away from her. Do not touch the spikes, even though they're stationary from this side either, because it's just like self-impaling yourself. It will just drain Lara's health like she'd be on fire or something. And if we climb up, actually, this is a very dark corner, you might not even see it. Let's use a flare hotkey. See and admire the dynamic lightning, which I've demonstrated already in Lara's home, but in case you haven't seen that, what is here is a zipline. So, not a new mechanic, this was introduced back in Tomb Raider 2. And oh my god, we make it across the river in the most stylish way. I have trouble believing some natives of someone just bothered to install a zipline with this handle in, but actually there'll be traces of other adventurers being here from the past, so maybe Lara is just taking advantage of their hard work. Now, what we see there are not, you know, nice tropical fish like those in Lara's home fish tank. These are piranhas. If they so much as smell Lara, they will shred her to pieces. They're not an enemy that can be killed, they're more like an environmental hazard, really. There is nothing you can do about piranhas other than dodge them. Thankfully, when we decided to go for a swim, these were nowhere to be found. I'm not sure if they spawn only once you use the zipline, or if they were just stuck in a different part of the river. Either way, we were lucky we did not get shredded to pieces, so try to avoid this particular river from now on. It's a good idea, but you know, at some point maybe Lara will end up eaten by piranhas in my Let's Play. That'd be actually good to demonstrate, we'll see. Now keep your guns ready for a tiger. Oh my god, doesn't this take you back to Tomb Raider 2? This time, maybe it's just a feeling really, but it feels like the tigers can take a lot more beating than in Tomb Raider 2's Great Wall of China. It's really difficult to say. But first of all, I suggest you make an angle jump over here, because this way we can get our hands on more Uzi clips. And if we continue deeper into the forest, which, by the way, okay, I'll keep saying this many times during the course of this level, but it looks so gorgeous and amazing. And it's also actually quite intimidating to be in a level like this, to be in a natural, organic environment, because, you know, it's all a very random structure. Things don't necessarily make sense around here. And yet, there is a small health pack, which will be picked up by this curious monkey again. And there it goes, you know, so you can pick it up before it steals it, but don't worry, let's just bear with it for a short while before I, being the bloodthirsty, cold-hearted bastard, I will kill it. But not only showed us a new area, which, I don't know, I guess we could have trouble finding, hard to say, but it points out the location of the box of flares over here. So it dropped the health pack and showed us the box of flares. Thank you! Now mind you, if you start shooting at the monkey can fight back and start punching Lara's feet. It's actually really hilarious. But do not underestimate it. And Lara managed to pick up both the small health bag and the flares with one press of the action key. That is amazing. They weren't all that close together. What it comes down to is where exactly the monkey decides to place it, really. That's all there is to it. Anyway, the reason monkey led us into this area, as if it knows where we want to go, is not to get us on this side of the river. No, this is still far away from our goal. And once again, we don't want to get eaten by the piranhas. I, by the way, love how we revisit the same river over and over and over. It's giving us this sense of progression. It's really amazing. But the whole point is really this lever over here. And yeah, if anything, take a heed of the music. Yeah, the boulder comes rushing down from the hill. Nobody warned us, really. There's another monkey that really doesn't really do much of anything. No reason for us to observe its behavior. We can just mow it down for that extra kill. God, I'm so cold-hearted. I hate myself for this. But I'd like to think it's for a good cause, to demonstrate to you guys where everything is. And by pulling the lever, we get, oh my goodness, to Bloodthirsty Tiger. Okay, it wasn't too bright, thankfully, but do keep those guns in hand, because there is another one just behind the corner. Okay, now jumping backwards helps a lot, as you can see. But sometimes the tiger can of course get way behind you, at which point it's a good idea to roll in mid-air whilst you're jumping and shooting. And just like that, Lara can walk through this particular piece of bush to find shotgun shells hidden here, and just make the note of the amazing music. I love it, absolutely love it. I always found it very scary when I was a kid. I imagine there's a tribe of cannibals around the corner trying to eat me. You know, the local natives and their kind of civilization. And yeah, so as you can see, these clumps of bushes are not really passable, but the one over here just is. Or I think it's maybe two of them. Yeah, so it's kind of a secret pickup, not considered a actual secret by the game, yeah. Now this once again is a very large, impressive and interesting area that we'll be revisiting later on. First of all, let's get rid of you. And if you just take a look in between the trees over here, you should find some shotgun shells and Uzi clips. This level is so very generous on pickups, it's amazing. Okay. And what we see here, you know, the light is shining there, it kind of tempts you to just go in. Yeah, it's a spiky trap. Now, of course, you can drop down safely by simply dropping into a corner and explore further whilst using the safety walk button to make it across without any injuries. However, we'll find ourselves climbing from that pit all the way up in a short while, so there's really no reason to go there now. It would just, you know, involve a lot more backtracking. It's really interesting how this level combines linearity with non-linearity. Areas to revisit, things to do in different order, and yet there is linear progression involved. It's really fascinating to me. Okay. You might want to dodge the crystal for now, in case you think you might get bitten or scratched by this bastard over here. And if you did, just walk over the crystal and your health will be fully restored, ideally, unless you took too much damage. And before we go further, let's just take a look here. The reason is there is once again a new pickup. Oops. There is a gap, we need to make a... No, not side jump, Lara, narrow jump. First you have to jump forward, then immediately tilt her to the right. Okay, I was worried you are stuck there for a while, Lara. Okay. There we go. And so what these are, they actually look like some sort of candy bars. At least that's what me and my brother used to think when we were younger. These are MP5 clips. Just like Uzi clips, for one pickup we get two of them. So there is at least some consistency there, but the grenades concept just seems to blow it to hell. But yeah, this really tells you what kind of weapons Lara will find in Tomb Raider 3. The MP5, being a submachine gun, is pretty much a replacement for M16 from Tomb Raider 2. And I'm not sure if the enemies are tougher or the weapon is weaker, but I find it is not as amazingly powerful as M16. And it really makes sense. I mean, MP5 is a submachine gun, not an assault rifle, after all. Later about that. I think there is a monkey here that needs our immediate attention. Yes, indeed. Okay. Once again, this monkey would really be of no real use to us. Wouldn't pick up anything, wouldn't carry us anywhere. We can, of course, continue all the way there. That is where we should continue, but being inquisitive as we are, let us get our hands on the next secret. Okay, there we go. Actually, I think a standing jump will be fine. But if you climb into this crawl space within the hollow log, you will actually find a box of flares. Oops. Okay, there we go, and another pair of MP5 clips. So, if I'm not mistaken, we should have 4 of them by now. Yep. Also, this is a Tomb Raider that will have the highest number of unique weapons available so far. So actually, there'll be so many weapons soon that scrolling through the inventory will be relatively time-consuming, especially on the PS1 version where it's much slower. And you have also no hotkeys to avoid this issue. Now, this is an interesting problem. Maybe you cannot see it from here, but there are spikes. There is a narrow ledge, which we will slide down and enter spikes, and Lara will not die. She will just lose some health if that happens. But we can dodge it, but by first making a backwards flip, and then when making a jump forwards, tilting her to the side. I prefer to the left, not sure why, but it really works both ways just fine. Now, before we proceed anywhere, let's take a note of another new pickup. It is really just MP5 clips retextured, but this time they're called Desert Eagle clips. Yes, there will be a Desert Eagle handgun, arguably the most powerful weapon in Tomb Raider 3, at least by a damage per second kind of ratio. So yeah, really, I think we will find ammunition to all the weapons in Tomb Raider 3 in this very first level, which is really interesting, you know, telling us so much about the game so far, so early on, to be honest. Now what we see here is a massive iron gate which we need to open. The way to open it is up on the cliffside over here. Oops. Unfortunately, we cannot reach the ledge we need. It is just that one tiny bit too high. So what we are going to do instead is climb out of this spiky bit. My goodness gracious, Lara, that is exactly what I wanted to avoid. Oh well. Yeah, how about we just jump? Okay, so safety walk doesn't work when you reach corner like this. It will just make Lara go crazy. But not to worry too much. As difficult as Tomb Raider 3 is, the health crystals in the PC version make it a little bit more friendly, to be honest. You can really easily make up for mistakes like these by just picking up those health crystals. Okay, and now we find ourselves in a familiar area. Just over here. Okay, great. So now we'll once again climb under the same lock we'll be climbing on top of soon. I remember during my trial run I tried to actually, yes, you can shoot guns whilst you're crawling, and I tried to kill the monkey here whilst being in a crawl. I really do not suggest doing that ever, because what happened was that the monkey entered Lara's position and just started punching the living hell out of me. But the monkey was also so close I could not really shoot at it. It was just somehow inside Lara within that crawl space. And the monkey just killed me. There was literally nothing I could do. It was really hilarious. But yeah, just, you know, shooting from the crawl space is probably never ever a good idea, purely because of the lack of any kind of mobility. Now we can safely walk across these spikes to reach that cliffside, or what we can do instead is take a look up, and what we see is a crystal. Now, of course, trying to adjust yourself by pressing a walk button forward is problematic. As you can see, Lara will take that step up, which we don't want to do if we want to climb up. So instead, use side walking, and Lara will tilt herself automatically once she reaches that point. It's very useful like that for that ultimate precision. Kind of a neat trick. And there we go, full health, as if we didn't have that incident with the spikes. And we can just slide forward here, and let's make a running jump to reach the other gap. Whoa, what the hell was that? I have no idea what just happened. Lara started tilting herself within the midair. Okay, this is very strange. I'll see you guys back at the same spot. Okay. Here I am back again. So, this sometimes happens on the... well, I haven't experienced it on the PS1 version yet, but sometimes when you press in a directional input, it will remain pressed no matter what you do. And this is what happened. Lara started tilting right for some strange reason. Now, the result of that being... I mean, just look at our flashing health up there, okay? This is disastrous. I mean, even the monkey up here could literally destroy us. But yeah, this is going to make things a bit more interesting, actually. I would really not want to use a health pack in the very first level. Let's see if we can make it, you know, at least until we find the next health crystal. That would be really great. Okay, let's shoot from crawl. Let's see if we regret it. Okay, thankfully the monkey was caught unawares. Okay, good. And all the way on top of this cliffside is a very dark corridor. All it takes is a little flare and we will soon see a lever. Now you might be very tempted to just press it. Oh! First, of course, let's get our priorities straight. But, you know, just one look above you reveals a boulder. So, I mean, even the least experienced of us can imagine what will happen once we press that lever. But first of all, if you go into the crawl space over here, you will find what I believe is the 5th secret of the level. Yes. Wow, we're doing really great. 5 secrets already. Now, once we leave this crawl space, I will suggest you light up another flare before you press the lever, because it might come in very handy on our way out. Okay, and sprinting is also a good idea, although not necessary. Lara? Okay, wow. So yeah, I think I just demonstrated why sprinting is not a good idea. Lara moves virtually like a tank when she's sprinting. You cannot tilt her properly, and I don't even want to think about how close this was. It's really hilarious how... I mean, I consider myself an experienced Tomb Raider, and yet so many things go wrong when I record these things. But honestly, I think that's part of the fun, to be honest. Okay. And let's just get down safely, because there's no telling what kind of falling damage will utterly destroy us at this rate. Let's take care of the tiger from a safe spot. Good. He's no threat now. And this is where we're trying to jump up from the spiky pit over here, where we found the 2 pairs of Desert Eagle clips. Okay, either way, the iron gate is now open. And first, let's get our hands on the flares over here. And you can probably already hear that monkey in the distance. Now, there are a lot of trees in here, however there is really no pickup, nothing remarkable to speak of. There is just one little monkey we need to take care of. Although, okay, it doesn't seem to be carrying anything, so let's just kill it. And once again, pay close attention to Nathan McCree's sound cues in these games. They will save your life, actually. Okay. Now you might be thinking, oh, we are safe already. No. Be extremely careful, because there is a 3rd boulder that is a bit more tricky to trigger. Let's see. Okay. It is basically taking the middle path. There are 2 that will be triggered on the sides, 1 in the very middle that will be triggered very late. And I love this trap. It's evil because it creates this false sense of security once you dodge the original 2 boulders. So yeah, caution really should be exercised. And under the plant here is a very cleverly concealed small health pack. And I believe we can just... yeah, okay. So just like descending a ladder very quickly, you can just drop yourself down and re-grab the ledge. And oh my god, yes, a health crystal. So as you can see, half of our health has been restored. Plus that little bit of health we had remaining, that amounts to way over half of our health currently. So in this regard, you can afford to make some mistakes in Tomb Raider 3 without expending your supplies, which is great, really nice. Now, unfortunately, there is a spiky pit beneath us, and we cannot climb up that way because the ledge is too slippery. So what we can do, let's just try and drop down diagonally. Good. Now let's jump on top of this square, and we should be able to grab the ledge above us, just like that. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit counterintuitive, but actually really easy to do once you know what to do. Although that can be said about the entire Tomb Raider, to be honest. Okay, and now, yep, you've guessed it, we are back at the river. A very different section of it. We can actually see the very source of the river all the way over here. And close to it, a pair of Uzi clips, just like that. Small reward for exploration. But what I like to do is just take a look at the actual dark corner over here. So let's scroll, let's move a bit forward, and let's activate look. As you can see, you know, it's completely empty. It just comes literally out of nowhere, but I don't know, I just feel like I really want to explore that particular secret corner of the map. Okay, and there are no further pickups in this area. Behind what appears to be a gate set between the two columns are the piranhas and the river we've already seen from that side. But really the gate cannot be lifted, opened or anything like that, nor does it really need to. Let's just jump on top of this log over here. Or what we can do as well is go for a swim into the dark tunnel over here, which will take us to the next very important area. However, there are really two ways we can proceed. Once again, the non-linearity of this level is surprising. I would prefer to take the more interesting, scenic kind of route. So let's instead jump on top of the log over here, try to reach the highest point of it. Okay, use maybe that directional side stepping, and try to grab the branch over here. Actually, not a bad place to show off Lara's moves. Okay. As you can see, in this very scenic location, we find ourselves with a lever. Maybe you've seen it, it opened a door all the way over there in the corner. The question is how to reach that corner. It might not really be obvious or very visible to an eye, but we can actually jump across from this wooden log all the way over there. It really seems like an impossible jump, but it is entirely possible with a running, grabbing jump. Really impressive like that. Okay, so let's see exactly what we've discovered here. Okay. Now, as I said, we are on the other side of that gate leading to the river with the familiar piranhas where we've been before. So yeah, it feels a little bit like Homecoming. Once again, the river is a very central piece of the level. We keep making progression along its many different shores. I really love that concept. It's great. And you can look back and think, oh my goodness, feels like ages ago since we've been in that particular corner. Okay, and we have another zip line over here. Let's see where this one will take us. Once again, I do not suggest you to take a plunge into the water anymore, not just because of piranhas, but the stream will catch you unaware and drag Lara off to God knows where. And there is a very optional crawl space over here, which really just shows us an interesting room. Now, this is exactly the room we would have entered if we would have used the underwater swimming passage under the lock, but instead I decided to climb on top of the lock and activate the lever and take the scenic zipline route. But don't worry, we'll not miss anything. We can backtrack into this area, although that is purely optional. But you know, I like to show you every piece of the level, to be honest. Okay, and what we have here is a very important central area. Now, before we collect that crystal, I'd like to introduce you to a couple of friends. Oh, here they are. You sneaky bastard. Okay. You can imagine why I want to keep that crystal for a later use. You can get really nastily injured, especially with that one bastard who just, you know, spawns behind our back. Very evil. And yeah, this underwater passage is a way to continue, but as you can clearly see, the iron gates are locked yet. Now, do not get confused or overwhelmed by how big this area is. There really is no need. There are no items around or nothing like that. Just these two tigers and a crystal. Now the thing is, our objective right now is to have this area flooded with water. So if you are interested in getting all the kills, please visit this area before you flood it with water. Pretty much just by using the scenic route with the zipline I took to get here. Because once it is flooded with water, as you can imagine, the tigers, they will not spawn, they will not attack Lara, and you will be missing out on 2 kills. But if you don't care about that sort of thing, just, you know, do whatever feels better to you. Okay, so that's where we came from. That's the locked underwater passage. The only way we can move forward is by going into the tunnel over there. Now there is also a very interesting waterfall over here. However, until we flood the area with water, it is quite inaccessible to us. Everything is just way too high. So that's pretty much the reason why we need to flood this area with water. It is unavoidable. Because within that waterfall is a level which opens the underwater passage, if that makes sense. Okay, so really these levels are quite complex, and for those of you who've played Lara's Home, you will recognize this music. This is what Lara has in her stereo in her dining room if you decide to press it on. If you go underwater, you can still almost hear it. It's a bit quieter. The same thing if you enter the inventory. The music can be heard, but as I said, it is very quiet. Now on this small ale over here we have just a box of flares, nothing remarkable. And yeah, so that door with the fires leads us outside to the waterfall area. There is one door ahead of us and one to our right. Now, of course, with both of them closed, you might be wondering, well, what the hell can we do? Not to worry, just explore every corner and you should reach the movable block over here. Now, if you take a look at the block, it is exactly the same kind of texture like the tile we are standing on. So that is kind of a hint to just pull it out and on top of this tile. And it's really good. It introduces player to the concept there are other kinds of switches to be activated by other means as well. Okay, I think that's the right door open. We can explore what's there just a bit later. Okay, there's nothing really in those dark corners over there. And there we go. A grate has dropped, revealing an underwater passage. Now, this is exactly what was behind the large stone block. Okay, let's just drop in there. And so, this area is really where we would enter if we were to swim instead of taking the scenic zipline kind of path from the wooden log. So yeah, this is where we would be, and I believe we've even seen it from a window. Ah yeah, over there, in that optional crawl space, so that's what we were staring at. Now there are really no objects around here, so no need to be confused, there are 2 levers. This opens the central door in the next room, whereas this one, I think it leads back... or not? No, I think it leads into the central room itself. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, of course, because we dropped here from the ceiling. Ah. Of course, it makes sense now. Okay, so really, it's the exploration of this kind of temple is really chaotic and confusing at first, but really the entire objective was to flood the waterfall area by pulling this lever. And there we go, beautiful, just like that. Flooding is really a concept that they've introduced back in Tomb Raider 1, the cistern level. Especially, it was really a central theme of it. and I think they made a great use of it as well. Here it's far more simpler, but I mean, come to think of this as the very first level of the game, it is really complicated. There is absolutely no shame in getting lost and stuck within the very first level. Now, whilst the area is flooded, the gate over here is still locked, unfortunately, but as I said before, we can now reach this particular tile, which means we can get on top of the waterfall. Great. And what we see here is, well, at least some signs of civilization. A ladder, which seems so oddly out of place, but whatever. And once again, the waterfall is really a kind of naturalistic, organic area, which doesn't really make much linear sense. But really, you don't have to worry about exploring every nook and cranny in this waterfall area. The reason is that, well, simply there are no items. You can just go under, climb, jump on top of here, or jump straight away like I just did. There's a platform over there with nothing in it. So just keep heading over here, press a lever. Of course, this time the game decides not to give you any cues as to what happened. Now, I would just love to swan dive, but be very careful. I don't want to accidentally make a running jump exactly on a stone platform and break poor Lara's neck. I really wouldn't want to die in the first level. Ooh, and whilst you're swan diving, you can actually roll. This is something they've introduced in Tomb Raider 2, and I've demonstrated in Lara's home back in Tomb Raider 2. Actually, come to think of it, I think that's how Lara committed suicide from the top of her mansion, by swan diving several meters on the ground. Yeah. Okay, now just take a careful look. There's a lonely predator stalking his prey. Lara, climb out. And you know what? We'll pick up our shotgun. I think this is a... Ooh, okay, the bastard still bit us. But this is a very good way to demonstrate the effectiveness of shotgun. You know, up close when you're cornered, that's when it comes in really handy. And I absolutely love the red blood ripple effect on top of the water. Now let's just use our flare. That's strange, I mean, they have red blood spreading across water surface in Tomb Raider 3, yet the blood animation itself has to be pink to not be, I don't know, offensive or something. I mean, this to me seems really rather strange, but there is an actual patch that fixes the blood in Tomb Raider 3 to be red and not pink. But, you know, I'm of course blinded by nostalgia, but I got so used to it being pink, I just prefer it that way. It feels like a tasty candy now. Okay, and when we climb this ladder, try and be very, very quick if you're a pacifist and don't want to kill any innocent monkeys. Now press control and pick it up, Lara, before the monkey does. Oh my god, well done. Okay, good. So this is called Indra key. This is a key that should lead us to the very exit of the level. Look at the monkey, just confused. How could you do this to me? Now, if the monkey was to pick up the key, you would of course have to shoot it in order to get it. I don't think it would really drop it anyway. It would just keep having it, holding it in its mouth. And the mischievous music that's playing is also kind of a cue that, oh, something not entirely good is happening. Okay, there we go. I think that was the very last enemy of the level. We shall find out. Okay. Now, actually, if you so desire, you can just jump onto this platform over here and make it to the very beginning of the level through the mud, but you know, the mud, it is very dangerous. Lara's breath and subsequently her health will deplete really fast, so it will cost you some health, but if you feel like you've missed something, anything, you can make it back to the beginning area. But first jump on top of this green platform and then make a running jump into the mud as close to the safe mud as possible. I managed to lose about half of my health, but I managed to get at the beginning of the level without too much backtracking. Now, just remember the shotgun shells over here, quite cleverly hidden. And yeah, let's jump over to the other side. What this is an actual keyhole, even though it looks like diamond. We can insert the Indra key, And with that, we are on our way out of the very first level of the game. Okay, let's see what happens next. Oh, not more mud.
Hello? Hello?
What? What do you want from me now?
Nothing that taxing. Are you alright?
Well, if you'd all stop, I might be just fine. Just 100%. Just go!
If you'd all stop, who are you talking about?
All you, hundreds of you, talking and chattering and breaking my brain up.
Well, I'm not quite sure where you're coming from, but I just want to know about the Infada artifact. In the temple up there.
Voodoo magic and all, huh? I don't touch this stuff myself.
It's not voodoo. Look, is there anyone else here with you?
Yeah, Randy and Rory.
Randy and Rory? Where? What are you all doing here?
Well, they're staying put in that temple. I told them not to. I warned them first. Not doing much now, I doubt, under half a ton of mudslide. Me. I'm leaving. Next bus out. This jungle has rooted enough rot into me. I'd offer the same advice to you, but you don't seem like the type to take it. To care if I said you're gonna die, man. Yeah, die.
And there we go, that's it for the jungle. So we have found all 6 secrets, we have killed all 19 enemies, and according to my notes we have found all the different 39 items. And we managed not to die nor use a health pack. So overall a great success for the very first level. Now I think this is also a good moment to talk about the story maybe a bit. This is really the first time Lara made her intention of looking for the Infada artifact, whatever the hell that is, in the temple. So she knows it's somewhere around here, but she has no idea what it is. Now also you might be confused, how does this relate to the, you know, to the opening scene of the meteorite falling in Antarctica, then a couple of modern day guys just finding Eastern Island statues and a grave of a sailor from Charles Darwin's crew and that kind of thing. This is really an interesting setup, and it will all make a little bit of sense later on. For now, all we know is Lara is looking for that artifact. Yeah. So really, thank you for watching. That's really all for the jungle level, and I'll see you guys next time in the temple ruins.